Introduction to combining integers, positives and negatives. So here is Pete, and Pete is the positive pirate. Pete together with his friends are called the positives. Now meet their arch enemies. Here is Ned, the negative ninja. Ned and his buddies are together called the negatives. Now pirates and ninjas, as everybody knows, don't like each other very much. Every time they meet, they always fight. You're going down. Hi-ya! And they always destroy each other in the process. So what happens when a lot of positives are confronted by a bunch of negatives? 3 ninjas, 4 pirates, and as we see, the pirates win by 1. Now we have 8 ninjas, 5 pirates. And of course, after they battle, we have 3 ninjas remaining. So -3 would be our answer. Now with 7 ninjas and 15 pirates, who do you think would win? Of course, the pirates are going to win this one. But the question is by how many? And as you may have guessed, 8 pirates are left, so the pirates win by 8. But if I have 4 pirates and 5 pirates, they're not going to fight. In fact, they're going to team up. And so now, when they combine to make a bigger positive or a bigger group of pirates, 4 pirates and 5 pirates combined is 9 pirates. Similarly, if I have 4 ninjas and 8 ninjas, so -4 and -8, I can combine those, and I would get 12 ninjas, or -12. Reviewing what we've learned, 1 pirate and 1 ninja would cancel each other out, and I would be left with 0. 3 ninjas, 4 pirates. After they battle, pirates would win by 1. 8 ninjas, 5 pirates. The ninjas would win by 3. 7 ninjas, 15 pirates. Pirates win by 8. 4 pirates and 5 pirates will team up, and I'll have 9 pirates. And 4 ninjas and 8 ninjas would also team up to give me 12 ninjas. So if I have a positive and a negative, I know that I'm going to subtract. I'm going to find the difference between those two numbers. And I know that because ninjas and pirates are going to fight. They're going to battle. I'm going to lose some, so I need to subtract. When I have 2 on the same team, 2 pirates or 2 ninjas, they will team up. So I'm going to add those numbers in order to find the value of my new team. But after we subtract, how do we know if my answer is positive or negative? And really, that answer is very simple. Whichever team has the most, whatever team is, if there's more ninjas, my answer will be negative. If there's more pirates, my answer will be positive. So we can see here, the first one, I have 1 and 1, so they cancel out, so I'm left with 0. But the second one, I have 4 pirates, so my answer is positive. The next one, I have 8 ninjas. So more ninjas, my answer is negative. Then more pirates, my answer is positive. Then all pirates, so my answer is positive. And all ninjas, so my answer is negative. But here, if I have 12 ninjas, 9 pirates, we know the ninjas are going to win. And in fact, the ninjas win by 3. The larger number always wins. Since there are more negatives than positives, the answer is negative. Here, -3 or 3 ninjas. positive 7 or 7 pirates. There's more pirates. Pirates will win by 4. So looking at some sample problems, we just need to determine first, is my answer going to be positive or negative? So here I have more ninjas. My answer will be negative. My answer here is negative because I also have more ninjas than I do pirates. Now here I have more pirates, or a bigger positive number, so my answer will be positive. Now they're both negative, so 9 ninjas and 4 ninjas are going to team up, and I'll have a group of ninjas. Here I have more pirates, my answer will be positive. And last, I have pirates and more pirates, so my answer is going to be positive with my large group of pirates. But I need to know, am I going to add or subtract? Well, the first one, because I have pirates and ninjas, they are going to battle. I will lose some, so I need to subtract. The next one, I have pirates and ninjas. Again, I will lose some. They will battle, so I'm going to subtract. Same with the following one. So since they're on different sides, some pirates, some ninjas, I will subtract. Now here I have ninjas and ninjas. They're going to team up, so I will add. Then on the following one, pirates and ninjas, they will fight. I will lose some, so I'm going to subtract. And then finally, with pirates and pirates, I'm going to add. And then finally, I just need to be able to solve the problem. So I know that I'm going to have more ninjas than pirates, and how many more? In fact, I'm going to have 6 more. My answer will be 6 ninjas, or negative 6. On the second one, I have 2 ninjas left over after the battle, so negative 2 is my answer. The next one, I know my answer is positive, but positive by 2. My 9 ninjas and 4 ninjas will team up, and that will give me 13 ninjas, or negative 13. The next one, I have more pirates, and in fact I have 3 more pirates, and so the pirates win by 3. And then the final one, it's all pirates, so a big group of 18 pirates, so positive 18 will be my answer. Alright, so in our book of knowledge, we added these pages, Intro to Combining Integers. First question is, where in the real world do we see negative numbers? And as we've talked about, we've seen them in a few different places. On thermometers, there's above 0 temperatures, there's below 0 temperatures. Sea level being 0, so altitude or elevation, above sea level or below sea level. When we did the Houston Texans Stats Challenge, so the Texans could get positive yards or negative yards. And when we talked about it in class, can I walk negative 3 feet? And so as we did when we discussed it, we realized it doesn't matter which direction we walk, my tape measure is always going to show a positive number, positive 3 feet. Distance is always positive, right? So if distance is positive, then why do we call it negative? I also showed you a picture of my watch where my watch said that I slept negative 3 minutes and 5 seconds versus last week. And as you guys answered, all that simply meant was that I slept 3 minutes and 5 seconds less this week than I did last week. So negative basically can indicate a comparison, or it can also indicate direction. And so we can see those negative numbers, or those negative integers, in real life represented those ways. So here we're going to start off with these really difficult questions. What is the difference? Difference meaning subtraction. So difference between negative 16 and negative 18. And usually when we see that, they'll put that second number in parentheses. And so that's just going to help us to see that there are minus and negative, or we see that negative symbol or that minus symbol in there twice. The next one is, what is the difference between negative 7 and negative 18? And usually when I pose this to my students, most of the time on the first question, students say, well, I think it might be 2, I think it might be negative 2. Sometimes they'll add the numbers together and it'll be that negative 34, or maybe it's positive 34. And so we'll get a few different answers, but we'll actually answer this at the end. We'll see exactly what this is, what this means, and how to do this. So for now, we're just going to leave it alone. We also introduced two color counters. So our two color counters we have in our math toolkits, and on one side it's yellow, the other side is red, and basically we're going to use these to count, and they're going to represent integers, with one side being positive, which is going to be my yellow side is positive, and my red side is negative. Now in our textbook, because our textbook is in black and white, they represent the positive as a white counter, a white circle, and then the black or shaded in circle is the negative one. So that's how it looks in our textbook. And that's just because our textbook's not in color. All right, so it says if I had one positive and one negative counter, what would this be equal to? So here I have one positive and I have one negative. So here's my one positive, one negative. And I know from the Pirates and Ninjas, those are going to cancel each other out. And so it's going to make a 0. So here on my model, I can just cross them out, right? So and if I were to draw it and model it here, one positive, one negative, and then they're going to battle and cross each other out or cancel each other out. So one positive and one negative is equal to 0, and this actually has a name, a very important name that we're going to use, and that name is 0 pairs. And so a 0 pair simply means it's a pair or two items, in this case two counters, and when I total them together, they're going to cancel out and make a 0. So here's my 0 pair. And before I go any further, I want to ask our essential question. Our essential question is, if I add 0 to a number, does it change its value? So if I had the number 5, for example, 5 plus 0, still 5, right? If I add another 0, still 5. Another 0, another 0, another 0, right? So I can keep adding 0 to a number, but does it change its value? So I want you to kind of keep that in the back of your mind as we progress. All right, so here's a question. If I had 3 ninjas on the negative side, 2 pirates on the positive side, who would win? And we already know because there's more ninjas, the ninjas would win, but I can go ahead and model that. So here's my 3 ninjas. And then I have 2 pirates. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to cancel out my 0 pairs. So I'm going to cross off 0 pairs, and I'm left with my answer, which is 1 ninja. The next one, what if we had 3 on the negative side and 2 on the negative side? Now who would win? So 3 ninjas. And then we have 2 additional ninjas. And what I'm left with, do I cancel out any 0 pairs? I mean, there isn't any, right? They're not going to battle. They're going to team up, and so my answer, what I'm left with, is 5 ninjas, or negative 5. All right, so now I want to go ahead and model on 2 color counters. And so the question is, how can we model this with our 2 color counters? Negative 3 plus a positive 2. Negative 3 plus a positive 2. We went ahead and laid down our 3 negatives and our 2 positives. And then we need to let our pirates and ninjas battle out, right? So we're going to cancel our 0 pairs. After canceling our 0 pairs, we're left with our answer, which is 1 negative or negative 1. All right, so we're going to go ahead and practice here with these problems. But before we do, I want to remind you back in kindergarten, first grade, when we first start learning subtraction, our teacher introduces it to us as takeaways. So instead of your teacher saying, today we're going to learn subtraction, when they first introduce it, they say, today we're going to learn our takeaways. And then, of course, later on, 2nd grade, 3rd grade, 4th grade, your teacher's takeaways. We don't do takeaways. That's for babies. We do subtraction. Then in 6th grade, when you get to Mr. Ermitz's class, Mr. Ermitz says, guess what, guys? We're going to learn our takeaways. So now takeaways are back. So takeaways is what we're going to refer subtraction as whenever we're doing our combining integers. So here I have a positive 4. This is my first number, positive 4 take away positive 3. So 4 take away 3. And this is exactly the way we learned it. Put down my 4. I'm going to take away or cross out 3. And I'm left with my answer, which is positive 1. Now, I could say positive 1, or I could just say 1 because those are the same thing. Question number 2, I have 4, and I'm adding, or 4 plus negative 3. So a positive 4 plus a negative 3. Put down my positive 4 counters, put down my negative 3 counters, and then I need to let them battle it out. 0 pairs, I'm going to get rid of those. Left with my answer of positive 1. So far, so good. Number 3, I have negative 3, and I'm going to now take away negative 1. That's not so bad. Put my negative 3 counters down, take away or cross off 1 negative, and I'm left with my answer of negative 2. Alright, so now I have on my next one negative 3 plus a positive 1. So to model that, I could put down my 3 negative counters, 1 positive counter, need to get rid of my 0 pairs, left with my answer of 2 negatives. Number 5, I have 2 positives, or positive 2, and I'm adding, or plus, negative 5. So positive 2 plus negative 5. So positive 2. I put my 5 negatives. After getting rid of my 0 pairs, or canceling out my 0 pairs, I'm left with my 3 negatives. The next one is a positive 2, and I'm going to take away positive 5. Now this one gets a little bit weird because I'm having to take away something that's not there. I'm going to go ahead and model this in the middle because I'm running out of space. But I have a positive 2, and I need to take away positive 5. I don't have positive 5 to take away. So this leaves me a little bit stumped because I can't take away 5 if I don't have 5. Now, we know that now I'm going to have to go into the negatives. Kind of logic tells us, well, 2 minus 5, it's going to have to go into the negatives. But I haven't really done this yet. I don't know how to model this. And so I'm going to go back to my essential question that I asked a few minutes earlier. Does adding 0 to a number change its value? And as we said, it does not. So I'm wondering, can I add a 0 to my number that's going to help me out? Oh yeah, 0 pair. So what I've just now modeled is 2 plus 0, right? Because this value is still 2. Because this right here did not change anything. I just added a 0 to my number. So nothing is any different. That's still a 2 plus a 0. I'm going to do that again because I can't quite take away 5 yet. All right, there's 4 I can take away. I'm not quite there. Let me add another 0. So what I've modeled is 2 plus 0 plus 0 plus 0. So my value is still 2. But what I can now do that I couldn't do before is I can take away 5 or cross out 5. Once I've taken away my 5, crossed out my 5, I'm left with my answer of negative 3. And so if you need to see that again, feel free to pause the video, back it up a little bit, and see that part again. Moving on to the next two, number 7 and number 8, I have a positive 3 plus a positive 2. That's pretty much like a kindergarten question there. 3 plus 2, well, we know that's 5, right? So I can model 3 and then add 2 more. That's going to give me a positive 5. But the last one, so let's add another weird one in here. I have a positive 3, but now I have take away negative 2. And this is similar to what I did before. I can have a positive 3. I need to take away negative 2, but I don't have negative 2. Right? There's not 2 negatives for me to take away. So I can add a 0 or 0 pair. I can take away one negative. Not quite there. Let me add another one. Now I can take away my two negatives, take away negative 2, and I'm left with my answer of positive 5. And what I'm hoping by this point is we noticed a pattern. And if we didn't notice a pattern, we'll see it right now. The answers to questions 1 and 2 are the same. The answers to question 3 and 4 are the same. The answers to question 5 and 6, the answers to question 7 and 8. And this is not by mistake. This is intentional. So what I want you to see, and what's very important here, is that when I'm subtracting a positive, that's the same as adding a negative. So subtracting a positive or adding a negative are the same thing. And what are they the same thing as? Well, let's go back and look at what we originally did. We originally had one operation, which was simply subtraction. So subtracting a positive or adding a negative are the same as just subtraction. Looking down here at the very bottom on 7 and 8, we can notice that adding a positive, right, because that is a positive 2. So adding a positive is the same thing as just adding. Well, that's not new. We've known that since kindergarten, right? Because I'm adding positive numbers. My answer is going to be positive. I've always done that. I've always known that. But the new one that I really want us to see, and this is the weird one, is subtracting a negative. So if I'm subtracting a negative, subtracting that negative, what I'm actually doing is it's the same thing, the same answer as adding, right? So subtracting a negative and adding are the same thing. And so here are my rules. This is what you need to know. If my signs are the same, adding and adding, subtracting and subtracting. So when I have two signs in the middle in here, let me go ahead and highlight those for you. If I have two signs in the middle, so right here, there's two signs in the middle. Here I have two signs in the middle, two signs in the middle, and two signs in the middle. When I have two signs in the middle, I can rewrite those. So minus a adding a negative is the same as subtraction. Subtracting a negative is the same as addition. Adding a negative is subtraction. Subtracting a negative is addition, right? So if my signs in the middle are different, I'm going to subtract. If my signs in the middle are the same, I'm going to add. So same signs add, different signs subtract. And so if you were there in class with us, we saw a really annoying video, a really annoying song that talked about that, but that's really important for us to remember. So same signs add, and different signs subtract. Same signs add, different signs subtract. If you can remember that, however you want to remember it, if you want to hear the song in your head, or if you want to just memorize that or memorize this here, that's fine too. But however you need to memorize that. Same signs add, different signs subtract. If you can remember that, that's going to help you in order to be successful in this unit. So as promised, we do need to answer these original questions that are on here. So negative 16 minus negative 18, I want to rewrite that to only have one symbol in the middle. So I do have negative 16. Circle my two symbols. Now that I've circled them, I see that they're the same. Same signs add, different signs subtract. So I'm going to add and then bring down my 18. So I have 16 ninjas, 18 pirates. Well, that's really easy. I know that if I have more pirates, pirates are going to win. So my answer will be positive, and then pirates are going to win by 2. So my answer is going to be positive 2. The next one, negative 7, subtract, because I'm looking for the difference, negative 18. So negative 7 minus negative 18. So I'm going to rewrite it. Circle my two symbols, and minus and negative, same signs, add. And so here I have 7 ninjas, 18 pirates. Pirates will win. My answer will be positive, and they will win by 11. So my answer is going to be positive 11. We also began working on this worksheet here, and on this worksheet, if you try to just skip steps and look at it and say, oh, that's easy, I know what to do, and you just start filling in answers, chances are you're going to get it wrong. And so this seems easier than it is. And so I really, really need you to follow the steps and get it correct. Okay, so if you follow the steps, you do what I'm asking you to do, chances are you will get it right. If you try to skip steps, chances are you're going to get it wrong. I'll do a few of them with you, and then you'll be responsible to do the rest on your own. Looking at this first one, I have negative 5. So my number is negative. And then I have two symbols in the middle. I want you to circle the two symbols every single time. Don't circle numbers, just circle my symbols. And so you can go through, circle your symbols, and then I need to remember what we learned just a moment ago. Same signs add, or different signs subtract. So if I have two positives in the middle, I'm going to add. Two negatives in the middle, I'm going to add. Same signs add. Different signs, so subtracting a positive is the same as minus or subtraction. Adding a negative is also subtraction. So different signs subtract, same signs add. And these are for the two signs in the middle. It does not apply to the first sign, only the two in the middle. So here I have two signs in the middle. They're different, so I'm going to subtract. And then I'm going to fill in a 2. This next one, that's a positive 3. My signs are different, so I'm going to subtract, and that's a 7. My third one, that's a positive 10. My signs are different. I'm going to subtract, and that's a 4. Looking down to number 9, that's a positive 1. And if it helps you to write that positive in the front, then that's probably a good strategy. Circle my two signs. That's minus and negative. My signs are the same, so I'm going to add. Same signs add. And then my second number is a 3. Let's also look at number 7. So 0 is neither positive nor negative, right? So I don't have to put anything into that box. I can just leave it alone. But my number is 0, and my two symbols in the middle are different. So I'm going to subtract, and then a number 4. And how I can model this, or how I can think of this, is I have an empty room, 0, right? So I'm going to model this. So in my box here, I'm going to model 0, done. Right? I didn't have to write anything. 0 is modeled. And now I'm going to model minus 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 4 negatives. And I know my answer would be negative 4. So for today, we're going to skip the box it up section and also the solution section. I don't want to write anything in these sections today. I want to save those until after we've done a little bit more exploration. But for now, I do want to just go ahead and fill in my column here and also my column here with the models. But it's easier if I write my numbers first and then I rewrite my expression first, then I can model it. So let's go back and model the ones that we've done. So negative 5, right? So I have a negative 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And instead of drawing the two color counters, I can just put little pluses and minuses. And then I have negative 2. And of course I know they'll team up. I'll have negative 7 as my solution, but I'm not writing that today. The second one, I have 3 positives and 7 negatives. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I also know that I'm going to have some 0 pairs because they will battle, and then I'll be left with an answer. Notice on the first one, I did not cancel anything. There are no 0 pairs because it's all ninjas and ninjas. They don't battle anything. Modeling number 3, I have 10 positives. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And 4 negatives. If you're not sure what I'm looking at, here's my 10 positives, my 4 negatives. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then I will cancel those out with the 0 pairs. And I'm left with 6 positives. So I know my answer will be 6 positives, but again, I'm not going to put my solution just yet. Alright, so let's skip down to number 9. I have a positive 1, and then now I'm going to add 3 more positives. And I know my answer will be positive 4, but again, I'm not going to write my solution, just going to model that. So what I'm going to recommend that we do, that's a plus 5, circle that, different signs I know I will subtract, plus 5 minus 8, and just go ahead and fill in the rest of the remaining problems. And then once you've done that, fill in the models, and then from there, we'll work on the rest together in class. If you have any questions, please let me know. Attend tutorials, send me an email. I'll be glad to help you out.